Thank you all for making the time to join us on today's webinar. My name is Natalie Taylor and I'm the Content Manager here at Feedvisor. I'm joined by Ohad Yarel, Feedvisor's Advertising Solutions Manager with over 5 years of experience in building and executing online marketing strategies in the e-commerce space.
Hey everyone, it's great to be here. As Natalie said, my name is Ohad Yarel. And in the past year, I've been focusing mostly on Amazon advertising, and I'm excited to share some of the insights that we see here at Feedvisor.
So before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that we will be sending out a link to today's recording, and there will be time for a Q&A at the end. So if you have questions throughout the presentation, we encourage you to enter them into the space provided, and we'll do our best to get to all of them. I wanted to start things off with a famous quote that I think is especially relevant now in the wake of COVID-19. In economics, things take longer to happen than you think they will, and then they happen faster than you thought they could. Digital transformation of the retail industry has been underway for years, but compared to brick and mortar retail, e-commerce has been fairly slow to take over market share. The coronavirus pandemic changed that. Online growth that was expected to take years has occurred in a matter of months, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. Shoppers are becoming more comfortable with digital channels over physical stores, and e-marketplace sales in particular are continuing to grow. Feedvisor data shows that sales across Amazon and Walmart increased 43% in July alone, and we predict e-marketplace sales will grow 32 to 35% in Q4. This is really important to consider as we head into the holiday season, which is already a historically high demand period for e-commerce. And now we have this perfect storm happening. There's the potential for a second wave of COVID outbreaks, which could shut down physical stores again. The obvious shift of consumer behavior toward online shopping channels, which has been amplified given concerns over health and safety. We have Prime Day likely taking place in October, and major retailers like Walmart and Target are already planning to close their stores for Thanksgiving, and that will push consumers online for Black Friday shopping. And then there's also the expectation of another round of stimulus checks to reach shoppers' wallets sometime in the fall, and that would incentivize them to make more discretionary purchases in Q4. So with all these factors together, we can expect more demand and opportunity this Q4 than ever before. Having a robust advertising strategy is going to be critical to ensuring your product's visibility, differentiating yourself from the competition, and effectively capturing the increase in search traffic. So today we'll be discussing specific tactics you can use to optimize your sponsored ads and content strategy to drive discoverability and engagement during the critical Q4 period. And this includes Amazon best practices and tips for optimizing your product detail pages, a deep dive into sponsored products and sponsored brands, and how to adjust your strategy for holiday selling, how to integrate Amazon stores into your sponsored brands ads to drive high quality traffic to your listings, and advanced keyword techniques to drive improvements in organic and paid search. So 73% of brands advertise on Amazon in 2020, and of those, 36% say they advertise more during key shopping periods, such as Prime Day, Black Friday, and Cyber Week. To remain competitive and ensure consumers have a positive brand experience, you need to first make sure that your product pages and catalog are retail ready. So what does that mean? Retail readiness on Amazon entails a number of steps you must take before you begin advertising to enhance your digital shelf presence. It's arguably the most critical component of a successful advertising strategy, and it ensures that your customers have a positive shopping experience. When the product you're selling is considered retail ready, it means that the product detail page includes all of the necessary information for a customer to make an informed purchase decision. So this includes informative titles, bullets, descriptions, clear imagery, customer reviews, and stock availability. Optimizing these areas of your digital shelf will have a direct impact on your conversions and your relevancy for organic ranking and sponsored products. And it can also help you secure premium ad placement and ensure that you make the most of your ad investment. What good is an ad when it leads the shopper to a detail page that lacks the information that they need to make that purchase? So first and foremost is your product title. This is the first thing that shoppers see when they visit your detail page, so you want to make sure it's clear and concise. Titles cannot exceed 200 characters, and the sweet spot is typically around 80 characters, though Amazon's length guidelines vary by product category. Be sure to include the brand, product name, differentiating attributes, other key details like the material, the color, size, or quantity, and you also want to include relevant keywords so that you rank in organic search. A tip that's especially important around the holidays: don't use promotional words like discounted, limited time, on sale, Christmas, or any other temporary words like December or 2020. These all go against Amazon's policies and could result in your listing being suppressed. And the same goes for your bullets and descriptions, but these areas allow more room for descriptive details around your product. Should stick to around 5 bullets, and those are limited to 250 characters each. And the sweet spot for those is usually around 150 characters each. Use your bullets to concisely call out information to answer any questions a shopper might have about your product. And we recommend that you go through your Q&As and pinpoint any common questions that have been submitted and make sure that the answer is clearly explained in your bullets. As for the description, this can help customers imagine the experience of handling or owning your product. So this is where you want to put yourself in your customer's shoes. What would they want to feel, touch, ask, or see? When writing your description, keep in mind that more is less. They should be less than 200 characters so that you don't lose the shopper's attention. So next is product images, which are one of the most valuable marketing tools that you have at your disposal. When customers browse Amazon, images are really what capture their attention. Should include a minimum of 4 images, and make sure they have a plain white background and at least 1000 DPI so they don't get blurry if a shopper uses the zoom in functionality. If you include video, this is where you can feature more of a lifestyle shot. Show how the product is used and let the shopper envision how it works or looks when it's in use. Next is customer reviews. You want to have a solid number of reviews if you're going to promote a product. So to be retail ready, an ASIN should have at least 15 customer reviews. And these are one of the most influential resources customers reference before making a purchase. Positive customer reviews are what convey your product's credibility to the shopper. And as for star ratings, your ad campaigns should focus on products with a 3.5 star rating or higher. And this will give you the best chance at converting shoppers that reach your page. In high traffic times like Q4 and Prime Day, you might want to ramp up and pivot to 4-star products or higher for an added competitive edge. And the next one's a bit obvious, but you should also make sure your products are in stock and that you have plenty of inventory to serve an influx of Q4 buyers. Amazon campaigns require you to have stock for at least the last 30 days before launching a campaign. You also need to ensure you're winning the buy box to get the sales credit for the purchase. And lastly, brand owning sellers can use enhanced content or A+ content to add images and rich text to the product descriptions. And this is where you can highlight your value proposition and brand story and any other supplemental information about your products, such as a competitive comparison. So once your product detail pages are retail ready, then you can begin to focus on your advertising strategy. And on that note, Ohad, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you very much, Natalie. Absolutely crucial to have your products ready. That's the foundation in which we're going to build on with these advertising sponsored ads that Amazon makes available for brands. So I'm going to start with a quick review of all the sponsored ads that are available, as well as give tips as we go along on how to leverage those during the busy holiday season. So the first one is sponsored products. These ads appear at the top of the search or inline search, bottom search, that's the rest of search, and as well as the product detail page. When you scroll down, it typically appears under sponsored products related to this. You can choose between automatic targeting, which will let Amazon algorithm decide what to target based on your product detail page, the category the product is in, and related products to that. You can have more control when you're using manual targeting, and that can be used either by choosing which keywords you want to target or by doing PAT, product attribute targeting, which will allow you to target specific products or even specific categories. Once clicked, these ads lead to the product detail page. Main benefits of these sponsored products are that they're very quick and easy to set up, and they don't require any additional approval process from Amazon, unlike sponsored brands. Another key benefit is the high return on investment. To be precise, 55% of brands say the sponsored products out of all their ad types that they use drive the highest ROAS. So a few tips when we're heading into Q4. Make sure that you raise your budgets to capture the increase in demand. On regular years, Amazon says demand around the holidays increases by up to 200%. This year, as Natalie mentioned at the very beginning, might be even higher due to COVID. So you want to make sure that you increase your budget caps, the daily budget caps, so you capture and capitalize on all of that increase in traffic. An additional thing you can do to become even more aggressive during the holiday season is in the campaign setting, you can also change the bidding strategy. There are three options. There's dynamic bids down only, which is the default, which will allow Amazon to automatically lower your bid whenever they feel there's less chance of the user to convert. There's dynamic bids up and down, which will lower your bids in case they feel the user is not going to convert, but also raise them by up to 100% if they feel based on the user's behavior that they're more likely to convert. And then there are fixed bids, which gives you full control over what you're bidding and doesn't allow Amazon any opportunity to play around with it. So you can consider changing that in the campaign setting when you're heading into Q4 to increase your win rate. You also want to combine sponsored products whenever you have a promotion on a product. Your product will have the badge that at the search result that highlights the deal, a limited time deal badge that does wonders to increase your conversion rates and the click-through rates, and they also appear with sponsored products. Sponsored brands. This ad type is incredibly useful for brands, of course, because it not only lets you access valuable placement at the very top of the search, even below the search results. And now they recently, in the past few weeks, have rolled out placements on product detail page, as well as the bottom of the search. Sponsored brands only offer manual targeting at this point. There's no automatic option, but you can target either keywords or PAT's product targeting. These ads lead to the product detail page or a brand store or a custom landing page. It really depends on where the user clicks. The landing page can either be a custom created landing page with a list of ASINs of your choosing. There's a minimum of 3 ASINs, or a multi-page brand store, which we will talk about more shortly. There's also, it's good to know that there are more than one type of sponsored brands. The main one, which I'm sure you've all seen around, is the product highlights, where you can select up to 3 products to showcase in an ad. But there are 2 other types. Some of them just, for example, the store spotlight that just rolled out a few weeks ago, currently is only visible on mobile, but it allows you to highlight subpages of your brand store. In addition, there's sponsored brand videos. This, you have to link it to one specific ASIN, but it allows you to show a short video, and the placement for that is inline search. Okay, so again, the key benefits here are the prominent placement that you get, as well as the option to customize your ad. So you can set a brand image. As you can see in the screenshot on the right, you can set a brand logo. You can select which product you want to highlight and add a headline. Some tip heading into Q4, you can change this headline whenever you're running a promotion to have a stronger call to action that highlights this promotion. For example, save now when you buy product name. Keep in mind, if you are doing that, make sure to add an end date to your sponsored brand. Otherwise, you might not get approved. The end date needs to align with the end date of your promotion. When deciding which products to showcase in your ad, group together your top sellers with a new product you want to highlight. So when you set up your ads, you can either create a landing page, as I mentioned, by grouping 3 or more products together, and let Amazon creates this dynamic page that looks very similar to a search result page, but only with the product you selected. An alternative, which is what we strongly recommend, is to set up the landing page as either the homepage or the subpage of your brand store within Amazon. And with that, we would like to take a moment to ask everyone to take part in our quick poll. Do you currently use the Amazon store features? You should be able to see a pop-up window that will allow you to answer your question. Okay, so a big majority of our listeners are almost 69% are using, so that's great. We're going to go into detail on how you can leverage the store. And for those who are unsure or have not been using, I think you will see how valuable this tool can be. So let's take a closer look at Amazon stores. This product allows you to create a customizable multi-page website within Amazon.com. It's free and easy to set up. There are templates. You don't have to be you don't have to have any coding experience or web design degree. It's very quick and easy to set up. And you can use it to create an immersive brand experience for your shoppers on Amazon. You have control over how you tell your brand story. You can showcase, you can choose how to showcase the products that you wish to highlight, as well as highlighting unique product features within them. You can also use it to highlight compatible products, so you can use that to increase your average order value with upselling and cross-selling. Once you have a brand store, now you can start driving traffic to it. So there's a few ways you can do that. First of all, once you create a store, you get a URL that is amazon.com/your brand name. Additionally, in the product detail page, under the title, your brand name appears with a hyperlink that leads users to the store. And leading to what we talked about before, you can use sponsored ads to promote your store and lead traffic. When creating sponsored ads, it's important to keep in mind that any products you wish to highlight in the ad itself has to be featured in the store as well. A few tips heading into Q4, you can add dynamic content to your store. For example, you can add a carousel that dynamically pulls your top selling products or products that have a live promotion running right now. Another thing you can do is leverage Amazon's already high conversion rates, especially during Q4, by driving more traffic to your stores from outside of Amazon. For example, your social media or using display ads. When doing that, make sure to use Amazon attribution beta and a custom source tag that you can find in the store insights section to properly track your traffic. You will be able to see how many users came to your store from whatever source, whether it's Facebook, Pinterest, etc., as well as conversion data for that traffic. And one more sponsor ad type is a sponsored display. This is a beta product. but can be very powerful, especially if you want to raise brand awareness. It has a prominent placement on the product detail page, but also on the product detail page, which you can see on the right, but it also has placements off Amazon.com. You can target either users who have viewed your products in the past 30 days but have not purchased, or you can target specific products and categories. Once clicked, they lead to the product detail page. The best use for these types of ads is for competitive conquesting, for example. When you have a stronger offer or when you're running a promotion, you can target specific ASINs. For example, the top sellers in your category, and your ads will show on their product detail page. Another great use for this is retargeting when you have a promotion to shoppers who have viewed your products, so they're already familiar and they're lower than the funnel, and that special offer could be exactly what drives the sale. Before setting up your campaigns for Q4, important thing you want to do is to identify what your objectives are and which strategy and ad type is best to meet that objective. So for brand awareness, we want to focus mostly on impressions and clicks. To do that, the best results we're going to see by targeting high search vol keywords. Those are typically non-branded generic category keywords. They tend to have a much higher search volume and will get a lot of exposure. You might also want to consider targeting the top sellers in your categories. Their product detail pages have high traffic. If your objective is to increase sales and grow your market share, you want to implement a full funnel approach, going after those category terms, but also owning your own branded terms and going after your competitor terms as well. And in addition to that, of course, retargeting users who are already familiar with your products. If your main goal is profitability in Q4, then you want to focus on ROAS or ACOS, whichever your preferred metric is. You want to identify ahead of time what are your most profitable keywords and what is the ideal bid on those keywords to maximize profitability. Make sure that those campaigns and those keywords are well funded to always capture the users that are at the very bottom of the funnel. Campaign structure. This is linked directly with your objectives. Having a smart campaign structure that is based on your objective will enable you to identify what is working and what is not and quickly address any issues that you see by diverting budget or optimizing your bids. When you have something like a catch-all campaign, when you put all your products in together and either automatically or just with a bunch of broad match keywords, it will be very, very hard for you to identify what is working, what's not, and how to fix it. So a few of our tips are to group together products that have the same goal in mind. If it's a new product launch, you want to start getting traction to it. If it's a product that is your top sellers and you want to focus on profitability, make sure you group them together, but also keep in mind that you want to group together products that are at the same price point, because it's the bid you can do and stay profitable for a high priced item versus a low priced item is a very different bid. You can leverage automatic campaigns to harvest keywords. So for each manual campaign you have, you can set up a companion automatic campaign with the same products and then use Amazon's report or an automated tool such as Feedvisor has, which will harvest keywords that are best performing for the automatic campaign and put them into the manual campaign where you can control the bids on them. And now if you want to take your keyword strategy even further, you can, on top of the structure I laid out below, you can become even more granular by creating separate campaigns for each of these keyword strategies. A campaign for brand protection, a campaign for category terms, and a campaign for competitive conquesting. So brand protection, the advantage here is that you're owning your own brand terms, you're controlling the user experience by deciding which of your products the user is going to see at the top of the search, and you're also preventing drop-off due to competitive conquesting. For non-branding category term, you're going after generic brand terms, which are crucial for brand awareness and growing your market share. And then lastly, competitive conquesting, where you're going after branded keywords or specific products of your competitors. When you have these campaigns set up differently, you can set different metrics for them. The ROAS that you're going to see on brand protection is going to be very, very different than what you're going to see on competitor conquesting. And when you have it broken down, you can really monitor it and shift budgets according to your objectives. All right, so we covered quite a lot, and I want to take a moment to review and the key takeaways. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have that foundation with Amazon's retail guidelines. Make sure that your products follow that. Next up, you want to set up a brand store. And if you already have a brand store, you want to make sure that it's updated. You want to make sure it truly conveys the brand story as you see it, and really put in some resources into it, because it really creates this immersive brand experience while also leveraging Amazon's high conversion rates. Heading into Q4, you want to make sure that you have clear objectives and you structure your campaigns based on those objectives so you could monitor the success and in real time make decisions to optimize. Think about your keyword and product targeting strategy. And when I say that, what I mean is when a user types in a search term, think of what that search term, where that user is based on the search term they're searching, where that user is in the funnel, and what you want to show them. In addition, you want to take advantage of all of the different ad types to maximize your share of voice on Amazon. And then, as I mentioned for sponsored products at the beginning, but it's relevant to all ad types, make sure that you allocate enough budget to capture all this increase in demand, especially for lower funnel tactics. And then one last tip is something that people tend to forget a lot. Make sure you go into your payment settings right now in your campaign manager and make sure that everything is up to date, because there's nothing worse than putting all this work in and then because of a charging issue to your credit card, your entire account is frozen. With that, I'll hand it back to Natalie.
All right, thank you, Ohad. So for more insights into COVID-19's impact on Amazon sales and ad performance, and for a deeper dive into our Q4 growth predictions for e-marketplaces, you can download our latest report, which just came out today, The Digital Revolution of Retail and E-Marketplaces. And this report includes how COVID-19 disrupted category sales across Amazon and Walmart, its impact on marketers' approach to advertising and media spend, and Feedvisor's data-backed predictions for what the new era of e-commerce will look like and how brands and retailers must adapt to succeed. So you could download the report at the link at the bottom of the screen. And now we'd like to dig into some questions for the Q&A, but we also have another brief poll that you should see on your screens now. As always, if you'd like to learn more about any of the ongoing initiatives we have here at Feedvisor, please connect with us. All right, now let's get into some questions. So Ohad, the first question we have here, can any seller create a sponsored brand or an Amazon store?
Thank you, Natalie. That's a great question. The answer is no. Currently, those products are available to sellers who are registered in the brand registry or vendors.
Do you have to use a template for Amazon stores, or could you create something yourself if you wanted to?
So the Amazon stores, you have to choose between there's multiple options for template, but there are all templates. Where you can really leverage the customization is you can upload your own assets, your own imagery, but yes, once you place it in, it places it in a certain template.
Okay, and next question. Is it okay to include language like limited time or on sale now in your ad copy?
Yeah, that's also a great question. And I think that's something that's very important to do when you do have a promotion. Typically, those types of ad will have a harder time getting approved by Amazon. The best way to approach that is to have a general language. So avoid saying a specific price. So avoid saying something like $20 off, but rather just suggest that there's savings. And then also make sure that your sponsor brands has a start and an end date that align with that promotion.
So next question we have here. How can I get a product back to being activated after Amazon suspended it? Any tips on that?
Yeah, that's definitely something that a lot of sellers encounter. I know it can be very, very frustrating, but that is something that will have to be kind of addressed on a case-by-case basis. So I encourage you to reach out to us, and we're more than happy to help you investigate and give you the best tips for your specific situation.
Okay, and we have time for one more question. When structuring your campaigns, is it bad to have the same keyword in different ad groups?
That's a great question. Typically, yes, you want to avoid that because you're running the risk of competing against yourself and driving up your CPCs. It can be difficult in practice to have to have no overlap at all, but you want to minimize that as much as possible. A good way to do that is, in a smart way, leverage the negative targeting. When you do that, you want to be careful, though, that you're not accidentally negative targeting crucial search terms that are valuable to the success of your campaign.
All right, well, thank you, Ohad. That's about all the time that we have today. And it was really great to have you with us today, and we really appreciate you sharing your time and expertise with us.
Thank you very much, Natalie.
And thank you to everyone listening in. As a reminder, we are sending out a link to the recording later this afternoon. And if you have any questions related to this webinar or Q4 planning, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.